All right, we're live on Facebook Live. Good afternoon, Mesa Public Schools. I am Andy Forlis, the very proud superintendent of this amazing school district. And this afternoon, we are here to talk about career technical education and all the opportunities that can provide to our kids as they work through high school and get ready for college, career, and community. So I am joined by some familiar faces, Mr. Chris Gilmore, who is our principal at Westwood. You will see, look at that proud warrior in the back. We see lots of good stuff. All right. So that's on the west side of Mesa. And on the east side of Mesa, we are joined by Principal Mr. Tom Brennan, who was our principal at Skyline High School. And you will see that there we go. We've got the Skyline Coyotes right behind Mr. Brennan's head. And we have Mrs. Marlo Loria. Mrs. Loria is our Director of Career Technical Education and does an amazing job providing incredible opportunities for our students as well as our teachers in the field of career technical education. So before we jump into this topic, I want to talk a little bit about where we are in the world of masks in Mesa Public Schools. I know that many of you, the title of today is Career Technical Education. Many of you will be posting questions and have already sent in questions ahead of time. So I'm going to take just a couple of minutes to clarify where we are and why we are where we are. So today, April 28th, let's just center ourselves for a second that throughout this spring, we have been watching the COVID case counts decrease in Mesa Public Schools while the amount of vaccinations in our community and specifically our staff continue to increase. And that begged a natural question. Many of our community members, many of our staff members were saying, okay, cases are going down, vaccines are going up. When will we be able to get rid of our masks in Mesa Public Schools? And our answer was, that is not an option. That's not a decision that we can make. We are under the direction of Governor Ducey's executive order and an emergency order from Dr. Kara Christ from the Arizona Department of Health Services. So as long as that was in place, we needed to adhere to mask wearing as a mitigation strategy within Mesa Public Schools. In my mind, I watch all of this very closely. I had no idea that I never thought that masks would be lifted by the end of the school year. But on April 19th, Governor Ducey came out lifting the mask mandate for schools if their districts chose to do so. So that opened up a very large conversation. So immediately on the 19th, I started engaging with our employee groups, with our administrators, reaching out, having conversations, visiting schools, talking to families, and gathering a lot of information about what would be the implications if we changed our mask mitigation process. So I met with our governing board, shared my thoughts, shared my findings, and shared our plan to move forward, as I have shared with our community last Thursday. Our plan is a phased and measured approach. So this week, the week of April 26th through the 30th, masks are required indoors. They are strongly recommended but optional outdoors. We are going to take a look at our district metrics tomorrow when the county updates the dashboard. If we have any indicators in high transmission, meaning in the red tomorrow, that will keep us in phase 1. If we don't have indicators in red, that will move us to phase 2. Phase 2 is that masks will be strongly recommended, but optional inside of our buildings as well as outside of our buildings. So that gives students and families choice and employees choice around whether or not they choose to wear a mask inside or outside of the building beginning May 3rd if we are not in those red zones. So we will send out a communication to all staff, all family to confirm if we are moving into phase 2 on May 3rd. So I hope that clears that up. Some staff members, some families are saying, oh, I'm a little nervous about this. I'm not comfortable. And I have asked them, please reach out to your principal, please reach out to your director, and let's see what we can do to come up with some creative solutions. So talking with principals, they are coming up with creative solutions, and they're doing everything they can to get to common ground to find a safe alternative for families and for staff should they need it. So just wanted to make sure that I went through that and shared some of the reasoning behind it. All right, closing the chapter in the book on masks for a moment, and we're going to move on to career technical education. So many of you, as you grew up in school, you knew about vocational tech or vocational education. That's what they called it in my day. That's what my mom would have called it. And then all of a sudden, now we hear this thing called CTE, career technical education. So, what we're talking about is providing opportunities in our high schools for students to gain the knowledge and the skills to go into the workforce and into college. Back in the day, it was kind of or. The really important word in today's world is and. Career technical education is for career development as well as college readiness. So let's talk a little bit about how does CTE help students get ready for college, career, and community. So you want to kick us off, Mrs. Lori, and then we'll chime in from some of our principals as we go through some of our other detailed questions.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Forlis, and thank you for having me today and focusing on career and technical education. I think, career and technical education, or CTE, is really the new and improved term of vocational education, where back in the day, it was two very distinct paths, those that were going to college and those that were not. But I cannot think of any career and tech ed program where there isn't post-secondary training or education that is needed. I'll give an example of automotive technologies. Automotive technologies is a very technical field now. And even though we have some great programs within CTE at all of our high schools, and students are earning automotive certificates, if they really want to progress through that career pathway, they really need to go to a post-secondary institution like Mesa Community College and get additional certificates. And those are available at the community college. And we use this term stackable credentials that then can actually build into an associate's and or build into a bachelor's degree. And so though CTE, they could leave high school and have some skills and certificates to get employed, we encourage all of our students to also continue their education post high school, stack those credentials and certificates so that they can even be even more employable. And actually, the more kind of credentials and certificates you get can actually increase your wage and salary as well. So everything we do leads to post-secondary, which then also better prepares them for a career.
Excellent. So I'm thinking about Skyline right now, and I know that there's quite a few AP course offerings. So, Mr. Brennan, a question has come up. Can my child still take AP classes and be involved in CTE? Can they get college credit?
Absolutely. As Mrs. Loria said, CTE is for everyone, and it is helping those kids get ready for the rigor of the work they will see in college. So a CTE course is just like any other elective on our campus, and we want kids to have an experience that is full and rich and diverse. So if I'm a student, let's say I'm in AP Physics and I'm in welding, there might even be crossovers because welding is such a technical area involving mathematics and science and gases and ratios and pressures. It's a perfect marriage of two areas. So people should and students should think of their pathway as diverse but focused. If I want to focus on welding, I want to be a 3-year welding student, I can do that. But that will not limit me from taking a specialized course in another area that I have an interest in. So there's plenty of courses to go around, Dr. Forlis. Thanks for asking.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that Westwood has a very robust CTE program, as does Skyline. So, Mr. Gilmore, can you talk a little bit about what type of certificates and career opportunities do students have by participating in Career Tech Ed?
So yeah, we're real proud of all of our CTE programs here at Westwood. And I just want to add that in the 21st century that we're in right now, today's economy demands a better educated workforce. And the CTE programs really focus on those skills, those employable skills, those technical skills that we need. While sometimes in a traditional university-based education, it's based on theory, CTE is focused on the skills. And what's really nice is that our CTE programs at Westwood and throughout Mesa Public Schools is that all of our programs are aligned with industry standards. And with that becomes certificates that you could get to show if you're a graduate of Westwood High School or Skyline High School, that you could go into the industry and you have your OSHA certificate, or you have an ASE student certification in engine repair because you went through automotive technologies. And staying on the automotive line, you know, you could get ASE certification in engine repair, suspension and steering, brakes, heating and air conditioning. And so when you graduate and you have those certificates, you are that much more employable going into that industry or that employer so that you can get a better paying job. And, you know, there's other certificates that you can get, you know, and business operations, you know, you can get things in Microsoft Office, in manufacturing. You know, you could get the National Institute for Metalworking Skills, you know, lathe entry level. So you could go to those industries and say, hey, I'm certified to work the lathe machine. So just a wonderful amount of certificates that we could give our students on top of a high school diploma. And I know, Dr. Forlis, that you're really passionate about this for the future, is that diploma plus. You know, we want students to have more than just diploma. We want them to leave with us some type of a certification, dual enrollment, AP classes, things like that. So CTE is the route to go so that students can focus on those skills to make themselves just much more employable.
You know, it's always fun to go to Westwood and go out to the agriculture area and to see the animals and the bunnies that are being raised and all of the plants and there's just so many opportunities within Mesa Public Schools. And so we always like to say that if your child has a passion and or even just a little bit of an interest, we can get them into a pathway to at least try. High school is a wonderful time to try and to experience what their career might look like into the future.
Dr.
So,
Forlis?
oh yes, please.
If I could just compliment and add on to what Mr. Gilmore said, similar to the certifications, all of our teachers are partners with industry. So not only do they earn those certifications, but many of our students in CTE have actual industry experience while they're here in high school as interns, but they also have pathways into job markets from those partnerships that our teachers, our district has a tremendous reputation, certainly in Mesa, but around the valley for the quality of graduates that we produce. So I know a number of anecdotes from our welding and automotive programs where those partnerships that the teachers develop with their industry colleagues create just a beeline pathway for those kids to get into some really well-paying jobs.
You know, I have a real life experience. My two youngest daughters both went through a nursing program. And many of you will know that getting into nursing school is really competitive at the university. And both of my girls had they had certificates to be certified nurses assistants, a CNA certificate. That was really helpful to them as they applied to nursing school and got in. And it got them to the kind of the top of the list of a very competitive program for both of them. So it is definitely, that's a perfect example of the and, that it is a certificate and gets you into a pathway. And in fact, one of my daughters finished a year early due to that and the college credit from AP. So you can certainly do it many different ways to put together that puzzle of that diploma, plus what is it going to offer you in the world of college, career, and community. So we're talking about a lot of acronyms and a lot of different programs. So Marlo, can you tell us where would a family find information about all of the available programs in Mesa Public Schools? That's the first part. And then how do they sign up for a program at their school?
Sure. So actually, if you go to the mpsaz.org /CTE website, or go to mpsaz.org and under departments, find career and technical education, On our homepage, we have a CTE program button, and you click on that, and that will give you a list of all of our CTE programs that we offer within the district and what sites that they're offered at. Not every program is offered on each campus, but each high school campus does have a wide variety of CTE programs that are available to students. And in addition, if there are programs we don't offer, we are actually part of East Valley Institute of Technology that also offers career and technical education training for juniors and seniors. So, and that covers a whole gamut of fire science and cosmetology and some other programs that we just don't have the capacity to offer here, but students would still have that opportunity to take them at EVIT.
And, we make it easy as well because transportation is provided. This is, we have removed the barriers for kids to be able to choose to attend EVIT should they want to, for those programs that we don't have.
And to sign up for them, they can work with their high school counselors to sign up for the programs that they have on campus. And then those counselors can also help them get enrolled into EVIT as well, if that's the direction they want to go.
Excellent. And we do have a dream someday, just a window into our dream, is that we would have opportunities for kids within Mesa Public Schools to attend the different CTE programs throughout our district, that we become our own little mini college. And for example, cybersecurity that is at Dobson High School, that might be something that a student at Westwood is interested in. How can we get them to Dobson to jump into cybersecurity? Because that's certainly a demand, and would love to get kids ramped up and ready for the world of work. So let's move on to thinking about what happens if my child decides that they don't wish to continue with the CTE program that they selected and they want to change paths. What happens then? Have you had any experience with that, Mr. Brennan?
I would say, Dr. Forlis, it's part of life at high school that kids are exploring, they're discovering, they're changing their minds, and of course we accommodate that. We're going to encourage the student to try to finish a semester in one place so that they can earn that credit for the semester. But we have lots of flexibility to accommodate schedule changes, and if a student's interests change, we'll try to host them where they're best served with their strengths and their individual needs.
Excellent. I'm trying to, we've had this question come up quite a bit. I think, Marlo, you're probably going to be the best one for this one. Are CTE classes available to remote learning students? This year, we do have some kids who have chosen to learn in the remote environment, and they'll have that option again next year. So what does that look like?
So, one of the criteria for career and technical education, and something that we pride ourselves and we actually get additional funding for, is that students have access to industry specialized equipment. And that equipment is very expensive and isn't readily available in the household. And so this year we looked at every program, and if the student had access to that specialized equipment, for example, if you were a video production student and your computer had the proper software and we could check out a camera, you were able to take that course remotely. But if you were a student that was, let's say, in automotive, and you didn't have access to a brake lathe and a tire balancer and all of that specialized equipment, we did not make that available. And I think it's because it's the hands-on learning that is critical to career and technical education. I don't think any of us would want to take our car to a mechanic who's never actually changed brakes before. And it's good in theory, but it's that hands-on application that is where those skills are being built. So as we move forward with remote options for students, it will probably be more in the areas of the computer-based, because that's the specialized equipment and the software, versus remote options for students where there's that very highly specialized equipment that is not readily available at the home. And that's what we've done to kind of differentiate what's available and what's not available.
Thank you. That's been a big question coming up. And so, as we think about career technical education, are there other pieces of information that you would like to share from the principal perspective, experiences that you have, advice that you would like to give to families and students? Want to kick us off, Mr. Gilmore?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Forlis. You brought up ag earlier, and I got to tell you, I got a picture today of 2 new animals that are on our land lab. And I don't know if anybody has these animals. We have baby emus now on our campus. So those are new warriors that are at on our ag land lab, and students could explore exotic agriculture by having those baby emus. But anyways, I got to do a little plug for our International Baccalaureate CP program, which we know we have the AP program, but we also just this year kicked off our career program. So it's a beautiful blend between our CTE programs, because in order to get this career program diploma, you have to be a program completer in one of our CTE programs. So you take the 2 years, the first year and the second year of your CTE program, and you also take a balance of those honors classes in the IB program. You do those things with some little extra requirements, and then you could be recognized as an International Baccalaureate Career Program diploma. So that is just a nice thing. We're only the second school district in Arizona to have this program, and we're just proud to host that here at Westwood High School. So I appreciate Ms. Loria and Dr. Forlis and the governing board for supporting that CP program. So it gives more access for our students into a more rigorous program at Westwood High School.
All right. Yeah, that is great. Huge celebration. So, Mr. Brennan, if you want to kind of wrap up, well, we'll let Miss CTE wrap up for us with any additional information. Mr. Brennan, anything that you want to share that haven't come through in the advanced questions?
Sure. I don't have an emu to offer. That was pretty good, Mr. Gilmore. But just some testament, if you will, testimony of the power of CTE. At each of the high schools, we have an on-site IT. Here in Mesa, we call it IS, Information Systems, your tech support guy. And here at Skyline, we have a very robust program in computer maintenance and repair. And our district IS personnel on our campus is a Skyline grad. And it's really cool that Jesse is here supporting, I don't even know how many thousands of units of computers that are here on our campus and out in the community. And he's a product of our program in computer maintenance and repair. And the students in that program get their hands-on training in the shop. So they work on their peers' computers when they have the inevitable breakdown. But it's just a really nice story, I think, about how Skyline and Mesa has taken care of its own, and a graduate who proved himself out of CTE right into industry right here in Mesa and at Skyline. So it's a nice story for us to celebrate.
Excellent. Love to be able to hear that. Okay, Mrs. Loria, you've got the last 3 minutes to tell us everything that we need to know about career technical education in Mesa Public Schools.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. Career and technical education is my passion. Being able to hear stories that Chris and Mr. Brennan shared regarding how students have found their passion, right? Like, we all have a passion. It's part of who we are and our strengths. And CTE gives purpose to that passion and purpose to those strengths. Because when you do something that you love, it's not work, right? You live in this zone of in your strengths. And so, and Career and Tech Ed provides that for students. So I really appreciate Dr. Forlis, our governing board, and our community to really supporting career and technical education, because without all that support, we wouldn't have what we have. And so, but I also want to say that, the other thing about career and tech ed, and knowing that high school kids are still trying to figure out who they are and what those passions are, our CTE innately is really where those portrait of our graduate skills and attitudes are able to be demonstrated. So even though a kid might be in a program that eventually they might not end up in that career, they're learning about critical thinking and problem solving and collaboration and innovative thinking. And they're learning how to be ethical and resilient, because in career and tech ed, that's what you do. It's learning about the job and the skills, and nothing comes out perfect. And so and then it provides that confidence for students that they carry over into other areas. And I know a lot of our employers really appreciate that we are focusing on Portrait of a Graduate, because those are the same skills they need for their future employees. And so it's a great blend of the two. And so I just would highly encourage, if there's any parents that are interested and they want to get their kid in CTE, to reach out to the school, reach out to the CTE department, and we're here to help support them and get them along on that pathway for college, career, and community readiness.
Well, that is, I am so honored that we have such amazing leaders in our schools. And these are two principals that represent the talents of many and working really hard to create opportunities for our kids. So I would like to say thank you to all of you. Thank you for making time this afternoon, and to our community for joining us. Have a wonderful afternoon, and keep thinking CTE. It's good for kids. Bye-bye.
Thank you.